Okay, it's time for a new unboxing video, and as you can see, it's of the game Cruis'n Blast for the Nintendo Switch. I'll tell you a little of my brief history with the Cruis'n franchise. First off, for me, I remember playing the very first game was it Cruis'n USA in the arcades back in the early 2000s. Um, the game obviously was developed by Eugene Jarvis, and it was manufactured by Midway. And at the time, it was supposed to be running on the Ultra 64 hardware um, um, in the arcades. And I remember going down into the Trocadero. That's when they used to have their arcade little center, and they had like the machine where obviously they had the Cruis'n USA machine, and you would sit in like a little cockpit, and you have a drive, a steering wheel, and very much obviously you can tell that the game was very much influenced by the Sega game Outrun, and I remember loving how fun the actual playing Cruis'n USA was. And now you had a choice of obviously playing it in automatic or using a manual transmission. At the time, I was just using automatic, obviously, because obviously I didn't know how to drive. Obviously now I kind of do, so I probably would go for manual transmission. But I remember playing this in the arcades and absolutely loving Cruis'n USA. And the game was just so much fun and just so great. It's great to play, and the playability of the game. Eventually, obviously, it would get ported to the the now named Nintendo 64 from its project name Ultra 64. But obviously, because we later would find out that the Ultra 64 arcade board wasn't completely running on the Nintendo 64 board. So when the Cruis'n USA was ported to the N64, they had to make some downgrades to the actual graphics because obviously it wasn't as powerful as what it was deemed to be on the arcade, and also some censorship was done to the actual game. But nevertheless, I absolutely loved it. Now, I never got round to playing the game on the N64, even though I had an N64. I always thought at some point when I had the N64 that I would end up getting it on the cartridge, even though I knew that the conversion wasn't as good as the arcade, but I still wanted to sit there and play it. But I'm hoping that obviously with the Nintendo Online subscription thing, that eventually that maybe that they will put Cruis'n USA on there at some point. Now, they did make various different sequels to Cruis'n USA during throughout the years on the arcades, and then even on the N64 as well. And they did a better job of obviously porting it. So it's always kept its sense of being an arcade racer and not being completely serious. So that in mind, it was kind of really great. There was a Cruis'n game on the Nintendo Wii, which I bought about a year ago. Although it's been out for years on obviously on Nintendo Wii, and that was basically a Fast and the Furious game, which I heard that they reskinned and then called it a cruising game. So I bought it for a couple of quid in my local CEX, but I've not got around to playing it yet. So maybe I might do some gameplay of that, and if I can set up I've still got my Wii U set up, so because obviously it's back compatible with the Wii, so maybe I might give that a try out. But now obviously we've come to Cruis'n Blast, which this is an arcade port because Cruis'n say this Cruis'n Blast should I say was then this game was developed by Eugene Jarvis with his new team at Raw Thrills. So this was out on the arcades at my local shopper centre. Every time I used to go shopping, and it's still there now. There's an actual Cruis'n Blast arcade machine there where you sit in the cockpit, in a driving cockpit, and obviously with the steering. And I always wanted to and try it out. Forgot how much credits are, because obviously back in the day compared to how much credits were in my time, it was a lot cheaper to how they are now. And the arcade scene is a dying breed now. There's not a lot of arcade places now, well, dedicated places, but in the UK now. So when I heard that they were going to be making a Cruis'n Blast game for the Nintendo Switch, I was really that made my heart flutter, and I was really kind of thought myself, great, I really want to play this. And at the time when it came out launch, I really wanted to buy it, but it was the price point, and especially with some Wii games over time, they don't the Wii games don't tend to drop down in price, which is why, although I've got quite a few Wii games, sorry, I've got quite a few Switch games, they don't drop down in price, and that's a general thing that seems to happen with a lot of Nintendo games, where they don't drop down in price. It's only been, obviously, this Christmas gone, that I've managed to get quite a few Nintendo Switch games, whether it's money that I bought at my own Christmas money, or been given as gifts. This Christmas, as I said before, I've been given at least 4 Switch games, which you will see uploaded to my channel. Obviously, this has been the first one, which is Cruis'n Blast. I've done Bayonetta. There's a Super Mario Wonder, and there's a 4th game which I bought, which I'm going to be doing a special video on that. So that will be my 4th game. Now, how I got this particular game is, as for Christmas money, is that Game were doing a 2 for 20 quid, and I told a story in the Bayonetta video about what happened there with Game, and it was a complete and utter mess, where obviously I tried to get it at a game in central London, and they said they would do the deal. Then they said, oh, they can't do it. Then I had to get it online. Then there was a problem with being able to use my reward points, and eventually they fixed it. And then obviously, as you know, they charge £5 to deliver. So with it being 220, it would have worked out as £25, and I had just over £10 worth of credits. I thought, you know what, I might as well just use it to get the game, considering that I don't shop at Game, and there's hardly any games shops anymore, because obviously they've closed them all down and merged them into Sports Direct, and obviously there's an online site which I've done videos on, and so it worked out just under just over £15 for both games, with the voucher taken off. Now, what you'll notice about with this particular game is that unfortunately, with the UK one, there is no cartridge. There's just a code in the box. Now, there was a way for me to get Cruis'n Blast as a cartridge, but what it would have meant is that I would have had to have paid a lot more money to get the cartridge version, which I'm sure, whether it's in the United States, I don't know if it's like the United States or any other part of Europe where they do have the cartridge, it would have meant that I would have had to have paid a bit more just to get the physical version of it. And although I'm somebody that prefers having physical games, I thought myself, for 2 for 20, plus obviously I'm using the voucher to get the game, my credit to get both Bayonetta and this a lot cheaper, thought I may as well just sit there and do it. So unfortunately, it's a cold just in the box, not the actual physical cartridge itself. So I won't be able to obviously show the code, because I don't want anybody obviously downloading it, obviously. But yeah, from what I've seen, when I saw the reviews of the arcade version, and then obviously the Switch version of it, more so of the Switch version of it, it did get quite high marks in terms of the actual review, being pretty much arcade perfect. I don't know if there's some things they could or couldn't do, but pretty much most of it's there. I think they've put in a few more tracks, because I think there were less tracks in the arcade version of it. I don't know about if they've added more vehicles into the Switch version, but I'm presuming that they have done that. But I'm just so glad that I was able to get this game, because, as I said before, when I first saw the arcade version, I thought, right, that looks absolutely cool. And then obviously when I did hear about they were doing a Switch port to it, I thought I must have it, but at the time I didn't have the money to get it. And then obviously fortunate enough to be able to get it as part of a 2 for 20 deal, and plus my Christmas money, and plus the credit that I had on my Game account, that helped kind of ease off the thing. So essentially not essentially, I didn't even pay for the game at all, or both games. So yeah, I'm really happy that we've got that. It's just unfortunate that it's a cold in box, not the actual physical thing. But as I said before, could have got the the physical version, but I just would have had to have paid more, and it wouldn't have been part of. I'd have to have pretty much would have imported it. I did see it on Amazon with the actual cartridge, but obviously before I would have had to have paid more now. I don't know if they even included imported in packaging, but you know what, I'm kind of content with what I have. So without further ado, we shall open this up. Now, usually I have my trusty Stanley knife, but I haven't got a clue where that's even gone. I take the plastic off because it'll be easier to read the back of it, because with so much light being in here, it's just everything's so reflective and trying to read off the box. But I am looking forward to playing this. I just hope that that Eugene Jarvis's company Raw Thrills you know, do make a lot more cruising USA cruising games in the future. I do remember the San Francisco Rush games. I mean, they were fun. Again, never got around to playing them as well. Maybe so in the future. As you can see here, you've got the Raw Thrills Eugene Jarvis's company there. This is rated 7, so kids can play it. Something here, as it says here, it says race, drift, and bash with 4 friends for the ultimate party racing game. And you've got the rest of it in different languages. So you've got I think it's French, Spanish, Italian. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's Portuguese. I'm not sure. Not very good at my kind of languages, so excuse me for my ignorance. You can play it with, I think it's a 4-player split screen. You can use your Joy-Cons that are on the Switch. You can obviously give you can play it as a 2-player with each Joy-Con, and obviously you can play it obviously as a portable. So you got the thing there. We shall open it up to see the code, which I can see. I'm not going to reveal for obvious reasons. I'll put it to one side. So you get the code in box. Obviously, in the physical game, you can see the outlay of the of where the cartridge would have been. You've got the customer support there. I do know that a lot of companies seem to be doing that, where they're just putting in the inbox code rather than giving you the cartridge. Now, or sometimes they have got a big game and they're putting some of the game on the cartridge and some of it you have to download for the rest of the game. And I don't know if it's because that they just basically want to save costs in kind of producing the actual cartridges themselves. So it saves them the cost of having to spend money in buying the cartridges. So I don't know if that's the issue as to kind of what's going on. But as you see, as I said before, it's an in-cold inside of the box, so you don't actually get the actual physical cartridge, which is actually a real shame, unfortunately, that you don't do it. But as for there is as for one of it, you can get it in the UK if you really want it and you're a UK owner. You can get a cartridge version of this game, but obviously you're going to have to pay a lot more to get that. But yeah, I might do at some point. I might do a playthrough, a quick little, maybe half an hour or half an hour play of this game, and because people seem to enjoy it, enjoyed a lot. The one that what game was it? I did Metro Prime Remastered, so I might do that in the future. But yeah, as I said before, this is the UK version of it, which does not come on a cartridge, just on cold in a box. So this is Cruis'n Blast for the Nintendo Switch, and I think as last I looked, game are still doing the 2 for $20. I know August were doing a similar thing with Cruis'n Blast, part of the film, part of their promotion thing, but they don't seem to be doing that anymore now. But let me just check to see if game, as of the 13th, to see if they're still actually doing it. I don't think so, but we can double check. Because when I checked on the Argos site, they didn't even have the Cruis'n Blast available just to buy the game, and it's a standalone, not even part of the for 2 for $20. But yeah, yeah, I'm looking at it now, and if you buy the game, bear in mind if you buy it off game, they're selling it for $12.99, so that's £13. Bear in mind that they do a $4.99 charge for delivery. So if you're gonna sit down and buy this game, I suggest buying 2 games at the same time. They're still doing It's still part of the 2 for 20, so that's on selected games, not just on Nintendo Switch, but also on PlayStation and Xbox, and on accessories as well. So as of the 13th of February, Cruis'n Blast is still part of the 2 for £20 deal on Game UK. As I said before, bearing in mind they charge you £4.99 for that, so be wary of that. Anyway, I hope you found my video informative. Please feel free to share with your friends and family. If you can give this video a thumbs up, I would highly appreciate it. That allows people to find my YouTube channel and content on the YouTube recommendation page. This is because of the YouTube algorithms that favour the bigger YouTubers, and they're advertised on obviously on the YouTube recommendation page. So giving a thumbs up will allow people to find my channel. If you already haven't, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Just before Christmas, we hit just over 500 YouTube subs. I'm halfway pretty much halfway to 600 subs. So we'll probably rather get it sooner rather than later. So a big thank you to the subs, old and new, for getting me over the 500 sub plus milestone. I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Especially starting off with 13 subs all those many years ago. The next big milestone probably will be 1,000 YouTube subs, so hopefully we'll get there rather sooner than later. So again, as I said, big thank you to people who have subscribed to my channel, old and new. And it just leaves me to say, wherever you're in the world, please stay safe, please stay warm and dry, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Bye for now.